So we're finding the average rate of change. Alexa just told us step number 1, evaluate separately. We're going to do that. Sarah, what's the second thing we're going to do? Step 2, use average rate of change formula. And before we do that, what does the graph look like, Amy? Just drawing like a basic graph. Where are the arrows? Where do they start? We got a cubic function. Does it start up or down? Class, show me with your thumbs. Where does it start? Yeah, you should start down. And then, Amy, where do you think it'll finish? Back in Math 5, this is a odd degree function. The easiest odd degree function is not 1, 2, x to the first. So it's a linear, starts down, ends up. So they're family. Does that make sense? My intercept is 0, so I know it's going to go something like this. Now, the only reason why I'm trying to show you guys a graph is, everyone say interval. This is interval notation. This is not an order pair. It's telling us to find the average rate of change from -3. So wherever it touches the graph at -3 to -1. They're essentially asking us to find the slope between these 2 points based on our graph. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's go ahead and do the first one. It says evaluate separately. So all I'm going to do is put into the function -3. F of -3 equals 0.5 -3 to the third power plus 2 times -3. And then, so this is just one way, but let's go ahead and simplify that. -3 to the third power. -27, right? -3 times -3 times -3, and then half of that. -27 over 2. And then 2 times -3 is -6. Class, how do you make 6 a fraction? We can subtract common denominators by multiplying by 2 over 2. So I have -27 over 2 minus 12 over 2. Class, do they have a common denominator? Yeah, so now you can subtract -27 minus 12 over 2. And that'll give us what? -39 over 2 is our answer. When f of -3, and when we put in -3, we get -39 over 2. Pick your favorite color. What did we just do here? I just evaluated when the x value is equal to -3. Let's go ahead now, evaluate -1. So I'm going to do the same thing. F of -1 equals 0.5 times -1 cubed plus 2 times -1. Class, should we multiply 0.5 times -1? Why not? PEMDAS. So -1 cubed. -1 times 0.5. -0.5 is just really -1/2, right? And then 2 times negative 1. Class, can I subtract these? Nope, not common denominators. Let's put it over 1. Negative 2 is equivalent to negative 4 over 2. So I have negative 1/2 minus 4 over 2. If you subtract those, what do you get? So negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5 over 2. So when f of negative 1, then my output is negative 5/2. Here I have two, we evaluate it separately. And if you think about it now, these are our order pairs. I'm going to call this one my x1, y1, and this one is my x2, y2. Partner A, tell partner B what is the average rate of change formula for step number 2. Sophie, our formula?
F of x2 minus f of x1 over 2x2 minus x1.
Or we can also say
2 minus 1 over x2 minus x1.
and then there I can just substitute in. Let's do it together. I'm going to highlight the biggest mistake for students. Well, the first one is not labeling your order pairs. The second mistake is this minus sign. Substitute into parentheses. So my y2 value is negative 39 over 2. My y1 value, negative 5/2. My x2 value is negative 3. And my x1 value is negative 1. And then I'm just going to go ahead and simplify. Class, negative 39 minus 5. Oh, sorry, negative 39 plus 5. Negative 34 over 2. Negative 3 minus a negative 1, so that'll be negative 3 plus 1. Negative 2. Let's go ahead and divide fractions now. This is vertical. I'm going to change my fractions horizontally. Negative 34 over 2 divided by negative 2. Class, how do you make the negative 2 a fraction? Put it over 1. This division sign will change into multiplication. And what happens to this fraction? I'm going to take the reciprocal of that. It's going to flip. So now I have negative 34 over 2 times negative 1/2. You can do negative times a negative is what, class? You can do 34 over 4. Or at this time you can also cross cancel. I'm canceling 2, so this is 2 times 17. I'm counting out the 2's, so you get negative 17 over 2. What is the average rate of change given the function, the cubic function? Negative 17 over 2. Class, what do I like better? Fractions or decimals? Fractions. If you did not like in the beginning of the problem, that was 0.5, you could have changed it to 1/2. So let's review what we did. We took a cubic function, And we're evaluating it from -3 to -1. I evaluated them separately, and then you can use the average rate of change formula to do -17/2.